Right, Tom. Funny how football works sometimes. 1-1 before the fixture was abandoned first time round, and now you've got 3 points.
Yeah, it's just such a... Well, I suppose it's going to be from now to the end of the season. Every game's just going to have a huge emphasis on it, and for a change, I think some results sort of around us went our way. So it's just, it just gives everyone a real boost. And I probably should have mentioned it before now. The supporters have been really good, sort of home and away, and clearly there's a bit of sort of despondency around the whole place when they've equalised. But I think it was almost the supporters that rallied first, and then the players responded to that, and it was I think it was really crucial in terms of how we then managed to get ourselves, back in front. And I'm just, I feel we deserve that with what we put into the Tottenham game and draws. Unbelievable effort at Tottenham, unbelievable sort of achievement, if you like, to get back from being sort of dead and buried, but just 1 point. So not a huge tangible reward for it. But so today, to back it up with 3 points, just so vital, and so many good performances out there. I thought first half we were really bright. My only negative, I just felt perhaps again we just needed or could have had a bit more devil in the last third. Just you've got to, when you've got those, teams are very, because of the even nature of a lot of the time of the teams you're playing, they're always going to sort of bounce back. So I think when you have those periods of ascendancy, you really have to try and make the most of it. And I felt we were a little bit, next one will go in, and I just felt then it looks like it's come back to bite you when they equalised. But, as I say, with the help of the supporters, I felt the players then rallied. And, Will Spetch is just being inspirational in terms of his performances and his goals this year. And he's got another vital one.
Yeah, made all the early running early on, got the game plan spot on. And for a side that had won the last 3 games, you made them look quite ordinary in the first half.
Yeah, and like I say, we knew probably that they'd at half-time they'd try and regroup and try and deal with the threats that we were posing. It's almost inevitable that's going to happen, but also you add into the mix that perhaps there's a bit of anxiety because there's so much meaning and so much riding on the game. Anxiety tends to creep in, and we became a little bit tentative. We sort of gave the ball away a bit cheaply. We started defending a bit more deeply, and suddenly everything combined, their levels raised. They became much more attacking. So just second half was more difficult for us, but I just felt again we showed some good resilience, we showed good character, and I do feel overall any neutral watching the game would say we just about deserved that.
Yeah, and I guess where you went wrong kind of in the Henley game when they scored 2 goals in quick succession, you nicked that in the bud, didn't you? You got the goal to go straight back in front. That was quite crucial, wasn't it?
Yeah, like I say, I mean we knew that they'd be a big threat on set plays. You look at the goals they've scored in recent weeks, they've been very, very dangerous from set plays. We knew that, and that's the trouble when the game's so tight that they're going to load it more and more. Balls are going to go in the box from free kicks sort of anywhere on the pitch as the game goes on, and they did have that threat. So it was always a worry that perhaps, although they didn't really create an awful lot in open play, that set pieces they may get something. So I just felt it was one of those that we were going to be the better side, but perhaps only come away with a draw. So I just can't really say how important that victory was and the way that we responded.
Yeah, just touching it off the record here, but Will Spetch and the team in general looked a huge threat from set plays all afternoon. Yeah,
I think, and credit to Woodsy, not just saying it because he's here, but I mean he does a lot of the work, or all the work really, with set plays, and he'd probably admit that having someone like Will obviously makes his job a little bit easier. But I feel we've been dangerous from set pieces almost from the day I came here, and that was again evident today. So important, but we sort of knew that was a big threat that we'd have to face from them. Particularly, the lad Dobson's got unbelievable delivery, and the balls that he puts in the box have got great quality. So I was pleased. I know it was a bit of a scrappy. I don't quite know sort of how their goal came about from the set play. We'll have to look at that. But on the whole, we dealt with them pretty well. And at the end, you sort of hearts in mouth. I think there was a delivery right at the end, and I think we ended up sort of hacking it clear. But they pretty much had all their big dogs in our box, and sometimes they're the one that end up sort of scuffing their way in the net. But we were just very good at defending their set plays. We had one little lapse and then, as you say, we posed a threat from our own for pretty much from the day I got here.
And of course, you're generating a nice little run now, going into what is another huge game on Tuesday at Tiverton.
Yeah, we just feel that we're a different outfit now than perhaps we were a few weeks ago. I think there is a connection beginning to show amongst the players, not just in terms of on the playing side, but almost, just a bit of an affinity between them as a group, and it's something I've always really sort of valued and felt was so important, particularly at non-league level. And I just feel that is starting to reflect in the performances. But we know, again, we can't be sort of premature in terms of praise. We can't be premature in terms of thinking that, we've done enough, because it's just nowhere near. You look at the league table, Plymouth Parkway are a few points behind, but they've got so many games in hand. If they win sort of games in hand, then suddenly you've just got everyone bunched together on similar points. So I looked at it, and there's teams on sort of 43 points probably that still need to do more.
I know you've referenced concerns about the Ladies Mead pitch before and how heavy it might be. With that in mind, what sort of game plan do you take to Tiverton?
Well, I think I haven't really had much focus on Tiverton so far this season, and I know that they've signed some pretty good footballers. Parker and Santos, I think, came in from Gloucester, and they've signed Fletcher on loan from Bath. They've got some good technical footballers. So, but we need to now. We've just not really been interested in that match as such, and now we'll focus properly on it. We'll take into account what Tiverton do, what conditions we're going to be presented with in terms of the pitch and so on, and then we'll decide how we're going to approach it. But I do feel the good thing is that we have got a bit of a plan. We've got some different layers to how we can play. You've got very different people. You've got people like Will Fletcher, obviously the physical presence. You've got Shaq, and in all areas of the pitch, I feel we have got some different options now. You saw again, I was pleased. Sometimes I hate not bringing subs on, because I know how demoralising it is to sit and watch a game, and I know it's always going to have two of your subs that end up doing that. But I was pleased to get the subs on today. I know Jan only came on for a couple of minutes, but it was good for Johnny to come on. I thought he did well. Lewis Waterfield comes on, and that's just where I know it's a sort of cliche, but the squad, if you've got those options in terms of where you can change things in game and in terms of to cater for the different challenges that you face in terms of the opposition, then it's so helpful, because I've been in some situations where I'm looking at my squad and there's not really any flexibility there. So I think we've got good flexibility in terms of how we can play. We've got good options in terms of numbers, if you like, and personnel. So hopefully that'll bode well.
Of course, in the table terms, you made ground today, and you could make ground again on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think it's just we got a bit of momentum, but you've only got to sort of lower your standards momentarily, and suddenly there's a bad result and the whole mood changes. So we're not anywhere close to getting carried away. We just have a little bit of belief. There's a decent morale about the place, which is all you can ask at this stage of the season. We seem to have come through. I'm hoping Shaq had a bit of a knock on his ankle, but I'm hoping we've come through that game pretty much injury free. We lost Luke Pardo to illness on the morning of today's game. Hopefully he'll be back in on Tuesday, but again that's a real positive thing if we've got good availability for Tuesday, because at this stage of the season often again that's not the case.
Yeah, just quickly on Luke, was it illness or sickness? Or?
Yeah, he woke up with a bit of a bug, and we're hoping it's quite a temporary sort of short-term thing, so he'll have a good opportunity to recover, and I'm hoping that Tuesday he'll be fit and available, and that means we should pretty much be at full strength, because like I said, I think everyone's come through today. If he's back, then just gives us that other option, and Harvey Hughes played for Dorchester today to get some minutes, but again he's under consideration all the time. He's showing up really well in training, so yeah, in terms of availability it bodes quite well.
Great to see. Brilliant, Tom.
All right, thanks.